I held the hand of the kindest man I ever knew, sitting by his bedside in silent reverence while he lay shrouded in sheets bleached white. We were alone, just the two of us, except for a hospice nurse occasionally interrupting the holy to adjust a drip or check a vital. Room 402 was sacred space. I looked at him that night as he looked at nothing, and I shook my head at the cruelty of cancer. After 3 years of potent drugs, radiation, wheelchairs, epidurals, and horrible pain that drove him to weeping, he never asked why me. When visitors walked into his room, even during his last days, he made them the honored guests. I thought about his kindness that night as the sounds of his irregular breathing softened. By morning, my father, the kind-hearted Reverend, was dead. Years later, what I recall is not his courage in death, it is his kindness in life. His kindness was the open door for friends and strangers to enter. I had never given serious thought to the revolutionary power of kindness until my father died. Then I started paying attention to the stories told about him. He wasn't quickly forgotten. His gentle influence rippled on and continues to ripple on. The stories were neither about his commanding leadership nor about his well-known status. He didn't start a company, earn much money, make the news, hold public office, or write a book. No one would have drafted his Wikipedia page. The stories were about his spirit of kindness. His influence ran deep and wide, showing up in kindness lavished liberally. He was wildly welcoming, epic in life because he was epic in love. I'm just now beginning to grasp how uncommon kindness is. My father's example doesn't seem to characterize the tone of conversations many Christians are having today in the public square. Kindness has become far too often a forgotten virtue. Christians often bypass kindness to begin a shouting match, or we just talk among ourselves about how awful the other side is. We have ranted before we've related, deeming the latter too soft on sin. Christians, and I've seen this especially in American Christians in recent years, have employed the combative strategy, and it's not working. The culture wars have done little to change our society, and we've lost many, if not all, of these wars. As a result, the church too often is marginalized and mocked, and increasingly people are viewing the Bible as just as intolerable as our aggressive tactics. To be Christian, kindness must shape us and define us. But this powerful virtue seems to be characterizing us less and not more. We have lost an understanding of the power of kindness, mistakenly dismissing it as fluff or flat. Kindness needs to be rediscovered. Our reflex is to fight those who oppose us. Standing for our dignity and in defense of the truths we hold, we have too often led with harshness toward those antagonistic to the Christian faith. To prove we're not going soft on our faith and sometimes understanding that fighting words raise more money, we're quick to label others from a distance. Leaders have been known to whip their supporters into a frenzy over the antics of their political, media, or theological enemies. I wrote this book out of frustration that those who represent the gospel are often caustic and harsh, picking fights with those whose views are hostile to theirs. In other words, Christians are often starting with unkindness. Unkindness has little effect beyond marshaling other Christians to admire our toughness and raise our own profile. This has gotten us nowhere in the cause of the gospel, our Christian call to be redemptive voices to that which is broken. Our increasingly shrill sounds in the public square are not strengthening our witness but weakening it. Bullhorns and fist-shaking, mustering armies and using war-waging rhetoric are far less effective than the way of kindness, treating those with whom we disagree with charity and civility. That doesn't mean we don't stand courageously for what we deem right, true, and just. But kindness is not incompatible with courage. Kindness embodies courage, although courage does not always embody kindness. Too often our centers are firm on conviction, but our edges are also hard in our tactics. This way is characterized by aggression. And on the other hand, there is a way of niceness. Whereas aggression has a firm center and hard edges, niceness has soft edges and a spongy center.